Not everybody wants to spend their life holding the camera itself to take a video or a picture. So what's another way to get some of those awesome shots that you see out there? By attaching these to a tripod or a selfie stick. Now I pride myself on finding all the budget-friendly options out there to take photos or videos. But I spent about $400 each on these cameras, and the last thing I want to do is mount it on some cheap piece of equipment, and the next thing I know, this thing comes flying off, and there goes another $400 down the drain. So after using this thing for a couple of weeks now and taking it on vacation, I can confidently say that the Bushman Monopod is the best selfie stick I've ever had. Now I did an unboxing of this a couple of weeks ago, so if you're looking for the specs, I suggest going back to that video. But basically, this stick is very well made out of aluminum and can extend to almost my height. It's got a nice little handle here, and these locks are pretty easy to open and close depending on how long you want your selfie stick to be. Also, if you're using a 360 camera, the end of it is pretty narrow, so this part specifically does not show up in the photo. Obviously for GoPros, it doesn't really matter. As if this isn't enough, it also comes with legs or a tripod. You could open this up and put your GoPro or the 360 camera right on here. This is also made out of good quality material, aluminum, and it hasn't failed me yet. We're not done yet though. It also comes with a counterweight. Simply take this counterweight, screw it onto the legs. The Bushman Monopod fits nicely in there. And now when you set up the Bushman Monopod somewhere and you have it fully extended, you're not really going to worry about it falling over because it's got this extra weight on the bottom. Now for extra security, this isn't included with the package for the Bushman Monopod, but you can buy separately these extra counterweights. I got two because, well, I knew I was going to be filming in some very windy areas, and the last thing I wanted was for my camera to fall over on that, so I got these. They fit nicely on the bottom and then onto the leg. As you can see, this adds about an inch to the height of the Bushman Monopod. Now I'm just going to show you really quick what these cameras look like on top of the monopod. Here is the ever so popular Insta360 1X. And like I said, this part here does not show up in the photo. However, this bottom lock here shows up very slightly in the picture. But don't be afraid. Most people don't notice it, and if you're one of those people that really don't want to see the monopod in the picture at all, it is easily removed in an app like Snapseed or Touch Retouch. Now, why am I showing you this? Because one of the benefits of having a 360 camera on a monopod like this is that you get that drone-like shot. Like you have a drone following you around, but you're holding the selfie stick. The magic of a 360 camera is that it stitches the stick out of the shot. A cheaper option for a 360 camera is the Mi Sphere. When you put that on top of the Bushman Monopod, same problem as the 1X. This part here is not able to be seen in the photo or the video. However, this part does show up a little bit. Next are the GoPros. Now, this stick specifically doesn't come with a GoPro mount because it was made specifically for 360 cameras. However, I also found that this monopod is pretty awesome when you're using a GoPro on it. Now back to what I was saying about putting your expensive cameras on some cheap whatever and possibly losing it. I am not a fan of those plastic GoPro tripod mounts. So I have here, made by Smotry, and I have talked about this previously, an aluminum tripod mount, which I prefer using on these sticks instead. I feel a lot more safe having this connecting my selfie stick to the GoPro than some plastic whatever that could break very easily. So you screw it on nice and easily right there. Add your GoPro right on top, and then screw it right in. I also highly suggest these thumb screws made by GoPro. They have this little tab on here that make it easier to connect and disconnect the GoPro onto your selfie stick. Now just a quick tangent, I literally have hundreds of these thumb screws made for GoPro, and unless you have a screwdriver to tighten this, sometimes just tightening it by hand is not enough. Or on the other side, if you tighten it too much, then it's really hard to get it off. Now GoPro made this tool that you can use to loosen or tighten the thumb screw. Now, just like I've said before, the last thing I want to do is worry about some other small tool that I might leave behind or lose completely, when you know GoPro is all about getting that action shot and getting it right at that moment. I might miss that moment looking for this little thing. That's why I think that these thumb screws are perfect. No tools needed. So now moving on, I can angle the GoPro towards me, tighten it nice and tight, and get that perfect shot. Or include the rest of the group. So super short and sweet and to the point, this stick is the best selfie stick / monopod of all time. I think it's going to be really hard to beat this. Now, for example, on my last cruise, the ship was rocking pretty heavily since we were sailing in the Atlantic Ocean, and I wanted to be able to get a time lapse of my balcony from night until day and day into night. So I put both counterweights, well actually all three counterweights, on the Bushman Monopod with the tripod legs, attached my GoPro on top, and even hung a battery pack off of it, and set it right outside my balcony door. When I woke up in the morning and looked at the footage, you could see that this monopod did not move at all. This is a solid piece of equipment. It's a little pricey, but I highly, highly, highly suggest this. I can't suggest this monopod enough. It's versatile. You can use it with pretty much every action camera out there and continue to capture those awesome moments like when you're on vacation or spending time with your family. The best part about this monopod is that you can set it somewhere, walk away, and get the picture with you in the frame. One of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with while being on vacation is actually getting in the shot. Old school, you're carrying around this camera, you're the one that's behind the camera all the time. It's really hard to catch yourself in the moment as well. Now, with this, your worries are over. My personal setup of choice is to put the Insta360 on the end of this monopod, set it up in the corner of the room, and let it record. Maybe if you've seen some of my previous videos, you may be wondering how I got some of those shots. Did I set up a tripod in the corner of the room and let it record? How awkward is that? Nobody's really going to be themselves, or people might start acting different when there's an actual camera set up in the room. But this thing is slim, and it's dark. So when you set it up in the corner of the room and let it record, people hardly ever notice that there is a camera there. And I think, from experience, it makes it less awkward than having this big camera on the side of the room. Well guys, that's it for this video. I know it's super short, but I really just wanted to sing its praises because this thing is awesome. If you have any questions about the Bushman Monopod, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I've also left links to where you can purchase the Bushman Monopod in the description. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.